Hi everyone, Larry here. Welcome to Travel Guide and Photography. If you're new to the channel, thank you, welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. If you're returning to the channel, thank you and welcome back. This is the second video of a 7-part series on cruising to Alaska in the Inside Passage. In my previous video, we talked about the most important decision that you will make while taking a cruise, your itinerary. The next two videos, we will discuss Juneau and Skagway, which will include Haines. After that, we will finish the series with videos on glaciers, favorite excursions, and wildlife. Let's get this out of the way up front. I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, and there is much about Alaska I know nothing about. However, when it comes to cruising, I don't think there are many that know much more than I do. This is only because of my experience. I am crew. If you took the time to see the Why Watch video, you know for the past 11 years I have lived and worked on cruise ships. And for 8 years in the summer, I have been in Alaska. This gives me a very unique perspective. With that said, let's explore the possibilities of Ketchikan, Alaska. Ketchikan, a small scenic town of 14,000 residents, receives 12 to 13 feet, not inches, feet a year in rainfall, with summer temperatures averaging in the high 60s. I've been asked a lot when is the best time to visit Alaska. Typically it's from mid-June to the end of July, give or take a week or two. But it's Alaska, you never know. I've been there in May, which is usually a little cool and rainy, and I've been there in May when every port for the entire month was shorts and t-shirts. In the summer of 2019, much of the summer was in the 90s, and Anchorage even topped 100 degrees. So again, it's Alaska, you just never know. I like Ketchikan a lot. There's a lot to do there. First, let's touch on some of my favorite places to eat and places to shop. Then we will discuss tours and shore excursions. There are a few places I like to eat in Ketchikan. If you're looking for a quick bite or a cup of coffee, the Foxhole on Front Street would be my first choice. There you will find homemade sandwiches, fresh roasted coffee, and great cinnamon rolls. Another place for a quick bite would be Polar Treats on Mission Street. This is another place to grab a sandwich, panini, or a wrap, or even a scoop of ice cream on the hot days. If you're in the mood for a burger, then Burger Queen is where you need to go. Located on Water Street, just past the tunnel on the hillside of the street. Burger Queen is a crew favorite, so be prepared to wait. There is always a line. If fresh seafood is what you're looking for, and why not, it is Alaska after all, then try the Alaska Fish House located at number 3 Salmon Landing. You'll have a hard time choosing between the grilled salmon, halibut, or crab. And don't forget to grab a cup of smoked salmon chowder, it's great. If it's the 50 Styles Diner that you're looking for, look no further than Pioneer Cafe on Mission Street. Here you will find everything from burgers to reindeer sausage dogs, sandwiches to a full breakfast menu. And they make the best omelet of any port I've been to in Alaska. My favorite place to eat in Ketchikan, and maybe of all the ports, is Cape Fox Lodge. Sitting on a ridge overlooking the entire town, it has a great view and extensive menu. A friend of mine that was born and raised in Ketchikan told me this is where the locals go to eat. He said it is 5-star food, a 5-star view, and 3-star prices. My suggestion? A heart attack on a plate. Seafood fettuccine alfredo with scallops, shrimp, and crab for only $22. My first time there, I also added a bowl of clam chowder. Do not make that mistake. Thankfully, I didn't have to work that day, and when I got back to the cabin, I collapsed on my bed, stuffed to the gills, unable to move. Now let's talk about shopping. There are stores everywhere. After all, it is a tourist town. There are jewelry shops to large corporate stores and everything in between. I personally try to only go to mom and pop shops to support the locals. If you are looking for authentic Native American art made by Native Americans, not Native American art made in China, then you must go to Crazy Horse Studio on Mission Street. The owner, Ken Decker, is a Native American and a wonderful artist. Ken and his wife, Monica, that manage the store, and I have become good friends over the years. I'm just being totally honest. If you want authentic Native American art at reasonable prices, visit Ken and Monica. Tell Monica that you heard about the store from me, and you'll get a 10% discount. My favorite buy, a handmade by Native American salmon skin wallet. It's absolutely beautiful. One of the best places where you can easily spend a couple hours is at Creek Street. The boardwalk weaves in between the shops that sit on stilts above Ketchikan Creek. It was the town's red light district in the early 1900s. And now it's filled with small shops featuring arts and crafts, gifts, and art galleries. Even a brothel museum called Dolly's House. Now let's discuss what everybody's been waiting for. Tours and shore excursions. A couple things to consider. Do you want to take a ship-sponsored tour or one you found online or on the dock? Both have advantages and disadvantages. If you book through the ship, you can be assured it will be there when you return. If you book from online or one of the many vendors on the pier and the tour runs late, you are on your own. Typically in Alaska, this is not too much of a concern, as most of the tours are relatively close to the ship. Another consideration is cost. Usually tours booked through the ship are a bit more expensive. But again, you have that peace of mind that the ship will be there when you return. Ketchikan is a short port. You do not spend a lot of time there, so multiple tours are usually out. I have two favorite tours in Ketchikan, and both are scenic and wildlife tours. Depending on the time of year and what you want to see is how you decide which tour to take. Aurora Bird and Bears is the easy choice for me and offers a 3-hour custom tour. I met Rich Lee, the owner, after many of my patients told me how much they enjoyed his tour. He always has a smile on his face, and over the years we have become very good friends. Rich is Native American, born and raised in Ketchikan. He will tell you of Ketchikan's colorful past. You will visit a waterfall, the historic chief house, totem poles, and maybe even spot a whale and bald eagles as you drive along the coast. But what he really has a knack for is finding black bears. There are no brown bears in Ketchikan. Almost all the tour companies go to Herring Creek with hopes of seeing bear, and so does Rich. However, most tours are maybe 90 minutes long, unlike the 3 hours that Rich offers. And they spend maybe 15 to 20 minutes at Herring Creek before they hustle you off, head back to town, and pick up their next group. Rich will stay as long as you like, and even drop you off downtown or at Cape Fox Lodge for lunch. Afterwards, you can even take a free shuttle back to the ship. Another favorite tour is the Bering Sea crab fishing tour aboard the Aleutian Ballad. Featured on Season 2 of The Deadliest Catch, you will love this tour. The captain and owner, Dave Lethine, and his merry misfits are extremely knowledgeable and will keep you thoroughly entertained on this 3-hour tour. You will learn what it's like to be on a crab fishing boat from men that actually lived it. It is also a hands-on tour, so you'll be able to hold crab, prawns, and other sea creatures. And don't worry, you'll be on the calm waters of the bay and will not get seasick. The highlight for me and many is when the boat heads to Annette Island. Annette Island is a Native American reservation that extends a half-mile into the bay, and Dave has an agreement with the tribe allowing him access. Being native land, some of Alaska's rules don't apply. like chumming with herring. Once the boat stops and the crew starts throwing herring into the water, 20 or 30 or 40 eagles come flying out of the trees like clouds of mosquitoes. They're only feet away from the boat as they swoop down, pick up a fish, and race away. More than once on the tour, I have heard people say, I have eagles at home, or I've seen eagles before. But once they experienced this, those same people said, I have never seen anything like this my entire life. So those are my two favorite tours in Ketchikan. How do you decide between them? Do you want to see bears or do you want to see eagles? Also, what time of year is it? I've seen bear from May through September, but they're usually more plentiful in the mid to late summer. That is because Herring Creek becomes full of salmon and the bears are there feeding on an easy meal. You will usually also see eagles there that time of year, feeding on scraps of salmon left by the bears. And many times during high tide, seals will come up the creek chasing the salmon. If you want to see eagles, the best time of year is May and June when the herring are plentiful. You will still see eagles at Annette Island after that, but they're not in huge numbers like earlier in the year. This is because the herring are not as plentiful and the salmon are in the creek. Now let's mention a few more tours that you may enjoy. One favorite of many is the Alaskan Lumberjack Show. This 1-hour tour gives you plenty of time to also grab a bite to eat or explore the town. Located close to the ships, you'll have a lot of fun rooting for your team when the two lumberjack teams square off. They will compete in 12 events including log rolling, wood chopping, and axe throwing. Another favorite is the Ketchikan Rainforest Sanctuary and Totem Park Tour. This 2.5-hour tour includes a walk through the rainforest with a naturalist guide. After leaving the forest, you find yourself on an elevated walkway above the wetlands near Herring Creek. Here you may spot bears feeding on salmon before heading to the Raptor Center and a totem pole carving demonstration. The last I will recommend is taking a flight over the misty fjords in a seaplane. I have not done this, even with all the summers I spent in Alaska, but I have heard good things about it. I keep telling myself I will do so, but I always end up photographing bears and eagles instead. There are many more tours in Ketchikan, but these are my favorites and my recommendations, either because I've taken them myself or I've heard good things about them from other crew members or my patients. The goal of the channel is for you to benefit from my experiences and advice, and I hope these suggestions have helped you. I've also authored a book entitled Alaska and the Inside Passage, a guide to the ports, tours, and shore excursions, which discusses the ports in more depth. It also has 36 large photographs for you to enjoy. It can be found at a few stores in Alaska, along with some of my photographs that are for sale. Or you may email me for a copy. I'll leave a link. If you've enjoyed travel guide and photography, please subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of my next post. And please hit the like button. If you have any comments or questions, please list them below. I promise I will answer each and every one of them. If there is a place you're thinking about going and I have not done a video, please let me know that too. I've been to over 80 countries, and if I've been there, I'll post a video for you. Again, thank you for visiting Travel Guide and Photography, and let's explore traveling the world together. As crew, my posts are my own, as are my opinions. I do not represent the cruise line or the company that I work for in any manner. Thank you.